how was the networking thing? It was good.
It was cool to hear everyone's story and share our own or my own.
Good, good. All right, guys. So we have a very special guest today, AAA Adams, is well known as a AAA Adam Adams. My friend Nico, he will introduce Adams to you guys.
All right, guys, we're in for it. Adam A. Adams, also known in the real estate community as AAA, has educated thousands of investors through real estate conferences, radio, and podcast interviews, his coaching program, and his thriving meetup group, guys, which is huge. Adam hosts the Creative Real Estate Podcast, a podcast listened to around the world with hundreds of thousands of downloads. His efforts to educate and inspire other investors has earned him the prestigious title Master Investor by Think Realty magazine, and he is also a 3-time Hall of Fame winner of RE Mentor for his successes in multifamily syndications. That is crazy. Meetup.com recognized him as one of the top 6 meetup organizers in the world from 2018. In 2005, Adam took the plunge into part-time real estate investing, but quickly became his full-time passion. Today, Adam is partnered in 7 multifamily syndications with approximately 1,400 doors, valued slightly over $100 million. His company, Blue Spruce Holdings, focuses on finding and managing apartment communities to allow passive investors diversification, cash flow, tax benefits, and freedom of time. Adam's primary role in the company is to attract capital, successfully raising millions of dollars from private investors. He continues to grow his company's brand as one of the top syndication teams in the United States. Welcome, Mr. AAA.
Wow, that was a long-winded. I need to shorten my bio. I need to shorten it.
The more I read, the sweeter.
Adam's a nice guy.
Oh,
who
does stuff.
Who does stuff. He's a nice guy who does stuff.
No, you're being too modest.
All right. Well, what we're really here about is social media hacks. And so let me take a few of what kind of we already talked about me. The 7 syndications, not a lot. There is many people that have done tons more. But one thing that I can say is that we have not had as much stress as some have had as raising the money. In fact, we haven't had to get embarrassed and lose hundreds of thousands of dollars because we couldn't close a deal, which I actually have a lot of people that call me. I do a little bit of consulting on how to attract capital, but I have a lot of people that call me and say, we're 2 weeks from closing, Adam. We're 2 weeks from the day that we need to close. And we're trying to raise $4 million and we've only raised 2 of it. What do we do? And oftentimes, I cry for them. I feel bad for them. I feel sad for them. But really what you need to do is you need to plant a tree 30 years ago instead of now. Right now, you need to harvest those apples because you have 10 apple pies that you need to bake in the next 2 hours, and you're scrambling trying to go from store to store to pay overpriced apples that have wax around them that came across from maybe even another country, and you're paying the premium on these apples. How do you like them apples? And the real thing that I think helps you to be able to plant that tree, if you don't have it today, you should have, if you didn't do it 30 years ago, you got to do it today. So if it's not already there, I just don't want you to wait any longer to plant these apple seeds. I want you to be able to harvest. And there's 3 major things that you need to be able to focus on if you want unlimited amounts of fresh organic apples straight from your garden that you don't pay a premium on. There's 3 major things you got to do. So please write them down. Actually, put them in the chat. I share this every now and again, but I learned something. I learned something a long time ago from this guy named Tony Robbins. Probably you never heard of him. Anthony Robbins, some guy in some place. He's a nice guy. He's done some stuff. But I learned something from him that we only learn if we engage. So you only learn if you engage. And so I'm going to ask you to learn. I'm going to ask you to engage. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to give you the 3 major pieces, the 3 stools to your 3-legged stool, the 3 pillars. And if you only have 2 of them, you fail. I'm going to give those to you right now, and I want you to just put them in the chat. The stool number 1 is a thought leadership platform. Stool number 2 is what you do on social media. And stool number 3 is meeting people in person. Thought leadership is the first one. Social media is the second one. And live events, meeting people in person. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to type all 3 of those out and push enter into the chat here so I can make sure that you're all paying attention. I'm going to skip a lot of the thought leadership, and I'm going to skip a lot of the live events today. And I'm really going to share with you the social media hacks that made my live events so popular. I'm going to share with you the social media hacks that made my podcast in the top 1% of podcasts in the world and top 6 meetups in the world. So I'm not really going to teach you your podcasting today. I'm not really going to teach you anything about your live events today, but these social media hacks are literally the basis of why my podcast got noticed. Some people wonder, Adam, why is your podcast popular? It's not because I'm any smarter than anyone. It's not because I'm any of those things. It's not because the podcast is better. Frankly, the podcast is great, but there's about 1 million podcasts, and almost all of them are great. I can't say that there's very many crappy podcasts. People put time into them. People put effort into them. People actually put money into them as well. And many of them only have about 20 listeners. And they never really take it. They never really make it off the ground. And if I didn't use social media, my podcast probably would still have 20 listeners, because that's about where we were after the first full year. After putting out around 50-ish episodes and working hard from 9/11, that's their first episode ever, 9/11 of 17. So we just hit our 3-year mark this week. 9/11 of 17 was the first episode. And all the way through September of 18, we had about 50 episodes that were launched, that were live. And we had about 20 to maybe 100 downloads per episode. And what I started to do is I started to learn this social media stuff. I started to tell people what they missed out on if they didn't hear the podcast. I started recording some of the podcasts live on social media. We're going to go into a lot of hacks today that are going to show you that it's not the podcast that made Adam popular. It's the social media. And the same thing when it comes to live events, hosting live events. I didn't really know what I was doing. I wasn't that great at hosting live events. I just did a few things that I thought would work, and I promoted it on social media. So regardless of what your business is, if you're trying to attract private money, capital for like a syndication or for fix and flips, you want to be able to get out in front of people, and the social media literally is the key to it all. You got to do all 3 of those things for the thought leadership, and let's see who was active. I'm going to put this. All right. Liam, Adam, Jamie, Joseph, Bailey, Daniel, Ryan. Is it Tone or Towen?
It's Tuan.
I was wrong both times. Tuan.
It's
Tuan,
okay.
Trevor, Joe, Nate, James, Francesca. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for writing those 3 things down. You're going to be glad that you did, because eventually you're going to want to know how to do all 3 of those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you those social media hacks. It doesn't matter if you're trying to track capital. It doesn't matter if you're a real estate broker and you're trying to sell more deals and get more buyers. It doesn't matter if you are a lender. Maybe someone on this call right now, literally the way that they make money is by lending money. And that could be you. And I just want to let you know that the social media hacks that I'm going to use are fairly universal. By fairly universal, I mean I'm mostly talking about Facebook and I'm mostly talking about raising money. But most of this also works on LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok. And most of this also works if you are an attorney. I have a couple of attorneys that I help them. They get more clients that way. They get more real estate clients. So three of my clients, are attorneys, and two of them are syndication attorneys, and one of them is or securities attorney, as one of them is a real estate attorney. Those three are coming to try to learn how to get more clients for their business. These social media hacks work. In fact, one of those attorneys, Mauricio Raoult, not only a client of mine, but a very good friend, a really good guy, and one of my favorite people. Mauricio said that after I kind of helped him do a couple of these social media hacks, after I helped him just with a couple of them, he was able to start making an extra 2 clients a month. And if you know anything about attorneys, those clients for securities attorneys can be about 12 grand per person. So he's making about 23,000 and some change more each month than he was already making because he applied some social media hacks. So I just want to let you know, these are valuable. They are going to help you. That's important for you to know. The first one is I'm going to actually, let me try to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen and show you the biggest no-no of them all. And I have to go to a friend, Nico. His name is Nico. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this guy. I need to go to his profile to share with you what not to do. Nico, I hope you're not mad at me.
That guy Nico's weird. We don't really like him.
So here is a post that was only 38 minutes ago. So let's give him some slack there. But here's the problem that he did, and I want to make sure that Nico, at the end of this presentation, I want Nico to say, I learned something that's value to my business no matter what, and I hope the rest of you say that as well. There's one comment.
I'll try
It's
and
me.
send it a different way.
I'm hearing somebody like talking or something. Do we need to mute people or?
I'm muting people.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. He's got 2 likes. One of them's me, and 1 comment, and it's me. And we're wondering why. We're really wanting to know, why didn't this post get in front of people? And this is the first thing that I'm trying to share with you right here. Links. Okay. Links. The main focus here is, if you put a link, like a Zoom link, guess what's going to happen to Facebook? Facebook's going to say to themselves, oh, crap. And they'll probably say other language than that, but they'll say, oh, crap. If I show this post that Nico just posted, if I show this to people, they're going to leave Facebook. They're going to go to his thing, and then they're going to leave Facebook, and they're probably going to join some Zoom webinar and be away from me and my investors and my advertisers for a whole hour or 2. And Facebook says, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to let Nico push people away from this platform. This platform is too valuable for Facebook. And so when Nico put this link, only 2 people saw it because Facebook automatically blocked it from people being able to see it. Now, there's a reason I saw it. He tagged me. And the only reason Hendra probably saw it is because he was actually on Nico's profile for some reason. He was already there. But no one else is seeing it because Facebook seizes up, because they need to make sure that they're making money. Facebook doesn't make money when you go to YouTube. When you post a YouTube link, Facebook loses money. Facebook doesn't make money when you send people to Zoom. They lose money because there's less people on their platform. Facebook's got investors and a fiduciary responsibility to keep people on the site. So stop posting links. You will not get value from doing so. And if we have time, please write this down in the chat. For those of you who are engaged and you want to learn, please post this in the chat. If we have time, I'm going to show you the very best way Nico could have posted to get more traction and without posting a link. So write that in the comments if you care, if you want to learn, if you want to be engaged, and write it in that we could learn what to do instead of posting a link. Because it gets hard for us. We look at this and we're like, obviously, there's no other way for them to find the Zoom if I don't put the link to the Zoom. So Adam, you're crazy. I have a way to hack that if we have time. Just put that in the chat so that we have the chance to be able to come back here. Ask, don't tell. Here's another thing that, and if you don't mind me using you as an example again, Nico, I could pick someone else. I could pick on someone else.
Come on, I need it. Pick on me.
Are you strong enough to take it?
I'm strong, man.
Okay, let's do it. Nico, in that post, he told people stuff. So even when Facebook isn't clamming up and hiding it from people, the people that are scrolling through, they're seeing everyone tell them stuff. They're like, oh, this person's trying to tell me something. This person's trying to advertise something. This person's trying to get me to buy their product. This person's trying to get me to go to their thing. Everyone's telling. And Nico, in this last post, and I haven't given him a full thing and looked at every post that he's done. I'm just picking on him on this one post. He told people stuff. Adam's going to be teaching this thing. Why wouldn't he turn it around and say, if I could get the Adam Adams to teach us private one-on-one how he does social media so well, who would be interested? Question mark. Who would be interested? Question mark. If I could make this happen, what would you want him to teach you? Question mark. Ask, don't tell. Here's the thing. There's a word for these questions, and I'm trying to recall what the word is. Pattern interrupt, okay? He told me. They're just scrolling through Facebook. He told me. She told me. Whoa, question. I need to stop and think. The questions are a pattern interrupt. So if you ask instead of telling, you get something called engagement. And when you get engagement, Facebook starts getting excited because people are commenting and liking your stuff. And so the next time that you post something that doesn't have a link, if it's a question, Facebook's going to say, holy cow, I need to put this out in front of everybody. Because when Nico posts and asks questions, he gets results. And this makes us make the most amount of money because we're Facebook. And that's why I say ask, don't tell. It's a pattern interrupt, so the psychology behind it has somebody actually stop and think versus the same stuff that they're seeing over and over and over. So stop telling people and start asking. Next point. Incentivize. What's in it for me? So when you have the opportunity, not every post is going to give you the opportunity. You want to incentivize the person that is commenting or the person that's reading it to actually comment. So what's everybody's favorite radio station? WIFM. What's in it for me? If you find a way to show people that they will get value by spending the time, it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit Facebook. And in turn, it becomes a vicious cycle that gets larger and larger, like a snowball. It starts out small. You just give a little incentive to comment on your stuff. They actually comment. Now Facebook puts it in front of more, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger. And pretty soon you do what I'm doing. And most of the posts, if I want people to see my post, I know how to manipulate the Facebook algorithms, to manipulate the system to allow for my stuff to get pushed out in front of more people than I used to be able to do. And more people than you probably can right now. And if you start implementing these things, it'll start working for you in a vicious snowball cycle. All right, we've talked about this on all three levels. We talked about the engagement, how important it is to have people engage on your posts. But I want to go into it a little bit more. I want to go into this part in a little more detail. And I want to, if we have time, I want to give you a huge hack that I was talking about in number 1, where we can, instead of doing links, I can show you how to really get this snowball to grow through engagement. Okay. So if you haven't already commented, you ought to put into the comments that you want to learn that trick. And then we'll make sure, as long as we have time, we'll give you that trick. The engagement is something that social media platforms, they have an algorithm, which basically means the computer sees something that a human doesn't need to see. When the computer sees that many people start engaging, I think I should pause. I think I should pause here and let you know one thing about the Facebook algorithm that you're going to remember. And what it is Facebook, in my experience, because I've been doing this for a few years, in my experience, what I'm seeing on Facebook is that if you make a post that doesn't have a link, by the way, a regular post with no link, Facebook's going to share that with anywhere between 10% and 10 people. Anywhere from 10% to 10 people, and usually on the lower end, okay? They're going to test it. It's called split testing, okay? It's something that all marketers understand, and Facebook understands it really, really well. They'll dangle Nico's post in front of you, and they'll dangle Jamie's post in front of you. And if Nico's gets more engagement, they stop posting Nico's and they keep pushing Jamie's. So they've got this algorithm to split test this stuff. So they start with a very small segment of your friends, 10 people to maybe 10% max. And what that looks like is they'll dangle it in front of them. If they bite, okay? Imagine that you're trying to go fishing and you've got a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of worms, and you all throw the stuff out at the same time, but you all have a different bait. And the person with X bait gets a jab right away. Now what we do is we put more hooks with that bait and in that area. And we start taking the lines out of the other areas that aren't getting any engagement from fish. And if we continue to see this growing, if Facebook continues to see your stuff growing, it continues to put that type of bait in front of that type of person. And so you want to be able to find out how to do this. The more that you tell instead of asking, that doesn't require any engagement. And so you'll usually get a bad result. And a little bit later, if we have opportunity. I want to share with you a way to really put all of this stuff together where you would have done a link, but instead you're going to get massive amounts of engagement. All right. So far, does anyone have any questions where what we've looked at so far? So maybe we can pause for a second, see if you have any questions, and I can jump right back in.
I just have a quick one. With
Yeah.
the links, is it different if you put it in the comments? Like
That is a
other...
very good question. And most people will say that it is different. I won't. I might be the only one who doesn't say that. Now, I will go into that even more, but if you're asking Adam Adams's opinion, I say it's a huge no-no. Don't do it. If you're asking some other people's opinion, there is an algorithm that if the link is in the post, it automatically shuts it down. But if you don't put the link in the post, it doesn't automatically shut it down, and then you put it in the comments and it's better. Sure. And we're talking 1% versus 2%. I'm hoping to give you guys 99%. You know, I'm hoping to really, really make a difference. And so even though it doesn't automatically hit their algorithm, I don't want you to do it. And I'll teach you a way to go around it where you're thinking, how would I give them the link then? Damn it. Well, I'll show you. I will definitely show you how to do this, and you're going to love it. You're really going to love it. Any other questions before I jump into why you should go live on Facebook? All right, let's jump in 3, 2, 1. All right, here's why you need to go live. Facebook's got some algorithms that they push you in front of. We talked about the 10% or 10 people. We already talked about the 10% or 10 people. That's a typical post. But Facebook likes to incentivize you for doing what's new, for doing what's difficult, for doing what not everyone else is doing, for thinking outside of the box and going above and beyond. And so when you use their Facebook Live function, what you'll notice, and I'll go ahead and share my screen, what you'll notice, I don't know why I can't find it. Okay, there it is. All right, so I'll just go here. What you'll notice is when you go to Meetup or Facebook, at the top here, there is a whole bunch of stories, which I'll get to in a moment. But if you ever look at your feed, the things that show up first and foremost, I guess I haven't had any friends go live. So my friends are going to get really, really, what's the word for it? If you are watching and you actually do go live, it'll do even more for you than you think. So go on your go on your phone Facebook or go on your computer Facebook. And what generally happens is if somebody's currently going live, you get a notification for it. It's almost impossible not to click the lives. I've literally accidentally clicked the lives, I would say somewhere close to 20 times. Just totally didn't want to click it, but accidentally did, and I was watching somebody's live. That's how good Facebook is at putting it in the right place. And so it usually comes up here, and even after it's front and center at the top, and it says, Adam Adams just went live. I'm not even live anymore, and Facebook's still being like, hey, Adam Adams just went live. And so that just proves that if you utilize that tool or stories, or if you utilize the stories, then you're going to have a better chance of getting in front of your right people. So those are the two things that I wanted to share with you is going live on Facebook, because it's one of the new things. Facebook, and when LinkedIn's kind of doing it now, and Instagram's kind of doing it now, when you do this feature, because they know how hard it is for people to kind of get themselves out there, They put it in front of everybody. So when I post a regular video, I get X amount of engagement. When I post a live video, I get probably 3 times the engagement. Okay. Instead of having like 20-ish people watch it, I might have 300 people or even 1,000 people watch it. Okay. When I go live. So whatever's new, like stories or going live, whatever's hard, whatever's difficult, whatever you're probably rolling your eyes about, like I don't want to do, that's probably the thing Facebook wants you to do. All right. Next thing is to be selfish. And generally, this is what I'm trying to say. Just don't share other people's posts. I've literally never found any value besides making my friend proud of me or happy or give them the warm tingly feeling or have them blush or have them come and say, thank you, Adam, for posting that, for sharing my post. Facebook's never rewarded me. Sure, if you want to get some benefit from your friend or from your sweetheart or from your business partner by sharing their post, just remember that it's just that. The only person who's going to see it is your friend. The only person who's going to be happy about it is your friend. It's not going to help you with any Facebook algorithms. It's not going to get pushed out in front of anyone else. It's not going to benefit you. So just be selfish and stop sharing. Just put your own stuff. You don't get value doing that. All right, so the stories. Same thing. I put in here that there's 2 types of stories only because there's the Facebook story, which I kind of showed you a little bit earlier. It's that story that's top right, front and center, top left, front and center. How do we read? Where do we start? Top right, front and center. And where does Facebook put the stories? Top right, front and center. Where does it put the lives? First notification, and it usually stays there for a couple of hours after they've gone live. So there's the first story. The first story is using Facebook stories. The second type of story that is going to help you with Facebook algorithms is you sharing stories. I literally mean you telling a story. You pulling someone into your world and sharing them the good, bad, and the ugly, giving them a good hook at the beginning, why they should read it, giving them a little bit of the story, and then finishing the story. And remember that people want resolve. People want that closed loop. You guys were freaking out when I gave you an open loop. You're like, what is going on? What is he saying? What do people want? Is he going to finish? And you couldn't change your brain until I gave you the answer. Because human beings need a closed loop. So as you tell this story, you can bring people into your world and you can hold them in until the time that they have an opportunity to close that loop. This is why it's so valuable for Netflix and HBO to put a cliffhanger at the end of a show. Or for what is that movie called? Back to the Future. I just watched that with my kids again, Back to the Future. I hadn't seen it and I can't even say how many years. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I watched Back to the Future. And it bothered me so effing much at the end. They were like, they stopped where I didn't want them to stop, and they said to be continued. Now, are you kidding me? Right there, that's where you're going to end? Because human beings need that closed loop. So I want you to utilize these stories. I want you to be able to give somebody something in the beginning and keep them with you to the end, right? Is that making sense? Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. Stories. So 2 ways of stories. There's the actual stories that you share, and then there's what's called the Facebook story, which is if you don't know what it is, please Google what a Facebook story is and how to use it, because I don't want to spend too much time like explaining that for the 2 people that are definitely on and they're still not sure what it is. All you got to do is just Google it. You'll have the answer to what a Facebook story is. All right. It's not about you. here's the thing, here's the big issue that I see so many people doing. What they'll do is what I've been doing, as I've been sharing this stuff with you, I'm talking in your language, the normal person language. If I went deep into algorithms and all this random stuff, you wouldn't be following. You wouldn't want to follow. It would make you feel dumb. You'd be like, I'm not smart enough to do all this. So I switch the language, and I just make sure I'm speaking to everyone with that type of language, with a normal language. And what it is people come, and there's probably a few of you that want to do syndication, apartment syndication. It's something that I do. I own a few multifamily apartment communities, and some of you probably want to do that. And what I've noticed is when I'm talking about, if I'm telling somebody, oh, this is the IRR, and this is how you calculate IRR, and this is this, my passive investor is like, shit, man. If I don't know all of this stuff, I can't invest in this. I can't do this. Everything that Adam's talking about is over my head. I'm not the right person. I just need to stick in the stock market because I'm not speaking to them in their words. I'm trying to sound awesome and fancy, and I'm using IRR, and I'm using COC, and I'm just thinking that I'm so awesome and I'm so cool because I can use these awesome words that make me sound so flippin' smart. But now I don't have any passive investors because all my passive investors are like, whoa, that was too much for me. I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't want to learn this. It seems difficult. It seems hard. My wife's going to ask me what I just put my money into, and I'm going to have to say, it was good. It was a good thing. Don't know. It's got a good IRR. He said, oh, the wife goes, what's IRR? I don't really know. Well, then why are you investing in his deal? And that's why you need to be speaking to them. I have this one piece of value that I give to people. Like it's 4 videos of me teaching you how to raise money. And during the second video, I give away this thing called a sample deal package, okay? So during the sample deal package, the main focus about the sample deal package is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The main focus of my sample deal package is never to use the word IRR. It's to use annualized return. My passive investor can freaking understand annualized return easy. But IRR, you have to use a complex calculator or an Excel spreadsheet to even calculate the IRR because it's time value of money. And there's no reason for you to stress somebody out trying to think about those things. Are we still sharing the screen or? Okay. Some stuff moved on the screen and I got confused. I hope that you understand what I'm saying about it's about your audience, not about you. So stop trying to sound so frickin' smart and just speak to them in the words that they get. Number 9. Number 9. I'm trying to get to number 9. I don't know how to use a computer now. All right. But when it is about you, let's go into advice and help and opinions and thoughts and ideas. Okay. When it is about you, when you are talking about it, let's give them some advice. Let's make it a shareable content. Even though it doesn't really help you that much when they do share it, just make you give the warm and fuzzies. 100 people shared my post. That's great. I want you to share real, actionable, tangible advice. Your thoughts, your ideas, those types of things. When it is about you, I want it to be something that people can get behind, that people can be excited about. All right. I would say bonus 1, emoji. Randomly, it's so strange to even think about this. I don't get it. I don't really understand it. And I think I'm not alone. How about we do a show of hands? All I want is a yes or a no. All I want you to do is to type into the chat the word yes or the word no, and that's it. And what I'm asking is if you use emojis when you post on social media. I'm hoping a few people say no. I'm seeing a lot of yeses, and it's really embarrassing to me because I was always a no. I was like, absolute no way, not my personality. I'm not going to put an emoji. That's what the teenagers do, or that's what the girls do, or that's what somebody who's not me does. I'm not that I'm too old school, like Daniel's saying. I'm too old school. I'm not going to use those emojis. That's what I would say. What I want to share is that these emojis, if you're not going to overdo them, they will help. And so what I've done is I've had to push myself because I realized that one or two emojis makes the difference if somebody's even going to read it or not. When it's just a block text and all it is a bunch of text, people are just like, don't got time for that. But when they see an emoji or two, they get curious. What is that about? Why did they put a thumbs up? Why did they put a thumbs down? Why did they put an arrow down? Why did they put a smiley face? Why did they put a cry face? It immediately, what does a picture do, guys? It tells 1,000 words. Those emojis are little tiny images that allow people to stop the scroll. What is stopping the scroll, as we learned already? It's breaking the pattern. Pattern interrupt. Exactly. Adam, you win because I said breaking the pattern. You said pattern interrupt. You were right. I was wrong. Adam's listening. Perfect. So it's the pattern interrupt. These emojis, if you can just kind of feel me for a minute, I was like you. I was one of the no's. And I was converted to a yes after seeing the success of just opening myself up to one or two emojis. And that was it. One or two. Not trying to go over the top, not trying to get crazy, not trying to become a teenager or anything like this. But one or two literal emojis makes the difference that more people see my post. And that's what we're talking about today is getting the most amount of people to see your post. So that's bonus tip number 1, emojis. Bonus tip number 2 is white space. I'm going to literally just show you how to get white space because most people just literally don't get this stuff. And so I'm just going to show you how to get white space. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my own profile right now. These are my 2 handsome boys. One of them's in the office with me right now. I'm going to go to my profile, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a post that is not a real post. Okay, I'm going to push enter a few times. I'm going to push enter a few times. Going to push enter a few times, and I'm going to make absolute certain that nobody can see it, because that would be embarrassing. Only me. Okay, only me. And I'm going to go a little bit more crazy than this. I don't really know if this means anything in your language. I don't know every language, but if I'm cussing or something, please forgive me. I am not trying to offend anyone here. So what ends up happening is most people, they do this. Most people do this. And we found that Adam Adams is I'm psychology. Adam Adams is what's that word where you mix things up? Dyslexic. Thank you. I'm dyslexic, and as a dyslexic person, I don't want to mess with this. I don't want to look at this. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to try to read it because something like this is stressful to me. And what's interesting, and I didn't really know this, that in general, this blocky text gets worse results than eating an elephant in small bites, 1 bite at a time. So I get it. You want to have an elephant. You've already lost Adam Adams because I'm dyslexic. I'm not going to waste my time. It's too stressful to try to get in there. So you're going to want to find a way to make these posts get in front of people and have them actually read it. And my suggestion is eating an elephant one bite at a time, allowing your audience to eat that elephant one bite at a time. Now, I'm going to show you an amazing hack for this, because watch this. Watch this. Enter, 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 enter. Whoops, that was a little too many in the one place. Oops. All right, put it here, put it here, put it here. Okay, whoops. I suck at this, guys. I thought I was a social media expert. You guys are learning from a bad person. I'm so sorry. I keep messing it up. All right, here we go. Here's what people can read when it's a little bit out. But watch what happens after I post this. Watch what happens after I post it. What? Facebook pulled it back together. You saw me put like 4 enters, and Facebook literally pushed it back together. So how do you overcome it? You go like this. Whoops. You go like this. You type in white space characters. Please type that into the chat, everybody. Please type that into the chat, because I even though you got it, I want to make sure that everyone got it. So just type in white space characters. Please. Remember what Tony Robbins said. And what you'll do is you'll just click on one of these links. You'll click on it, or not that one. Don't click on that one, apparently. Click on this one, hopefully. And all you got to do is you come in. I don't know why I do this, but I go and get the biggest character. So click to copy to clipboard. Boom. Copied to my clipboard. Now, guess what I do? I go back in and I come in and I'll edit this post. Now that I remembered, I messed up. I put all these enters and it didn't work. And I'm going to Control V, that's paste. And I'll go enter again, Control V, okay? And I'll go Control V here and then do it again. Control V, enter Control V, Control V, enter Control V, Control V, enter Control V. You get the point. And then let me show you guys what it does when I save it. Oh my gosh, am I going to be wrong? Is it not going to work this time right in front of you? Oh, it worked. Okay, great. See, this part down here is where I didn't do it. And the spaces are about a half of a space, even though I put 4. And these spaces are 2, and I only put 2. Because I went in and got an invisible white space character, and I pasted it, entered it, and pasted it. And Facebook's algorithms see that as a space, but our eyes see it as Facebook's algorithms see it as a character, but our eyes see it as a space. Huge, huge helpful hack for you. The last one, lead magnets, is how do you get those people that are already engaging on your stuff? How do you, I guess the point is, how do we take the effort of being active on social media, the time, the energy, and everything that you learned so far today, and how do we make that make us money? How do we make that put passive investors on our list? And so what I want to suggest is a lead magnet. I shared one of my lead magnets with you a little bit earlier. I let you know that I have a free course on attracting capital, and that it's going to give you that what did I call it before? It's a sample deal package, and it's all free. It's not exactly free though. I'm going to get your email address. You're going to give me you're going to give me your email list. I suck at this. You are going to give me your email address, and you're in exchange, you get an hour's worth of content just on raising money, plus a sample deal package that's simple and easy to understand. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm trying to show you how I would sell a lead magnet. I could care less if you get my lead magnet, but I'm hoping that you see that I'm showing you the value to you. I'm not telling you I've got this great lead magnet that I like and that I like a lot and I like it. I'm saying if you need to raise money, if you have to attract lots of capital, and if you want this sample deal package that you can copy and use yourself, it's all free. Now you're interested in a lead magnet, and perhaps if I'm even allowed to share how to get that lead magnet, perhaps 2 or 3 of you will do it. And the other 12 or 20 or 20, the other 22 will just stay and they'll be like, I'm cool. I can already raise lots of money. I don't need a fancy sample deal package that's simple and easy to understand for my passive investors, right? So that's a couple people will do it and some won't. And the people that are going to do it, they're my true fans. I may have shared this toward the beginning today. Oh, I shared it on the breakout sessions. So a lot of you haven't heard it. I would estimate that somewhere between 40 and 60,000 people know my name. They could pinpoint my face and say, oh my gosh, that's Adam Adams. I heard him on a podcast or something like this. I don't have to estimate. I've got about 6,000 of those 40,000 to 60,000 that have decided that they want to be on my list. They've decided that one of my lead magnets is beneficial enough to them that they trust me enough that they're going to say, I want you to have my email address, and in exchange, I want that awesome, badass thing that you offered, which is whatever I said it was, the 4 things, right? Or the thing that you're going to offer. So you're going to use this lead magnet to get those people that see you, the 40,000 people that see you, so that 6,000 of them are going to be on your email list. Because I have 742 people that are not just on my email list, but they've literally committed that they want to be a passive investor in my deal. They've literally said, Adam, I've loved being on your list. I've loved seeing your content. I've loved listening to your podcast. I love being on your email list. Now I want to put 50,000 or more into your deals. 742 people have said that. 742. And 62 of those 742 actually have put 60,000 plus in our deals separately. Okay? That's the process that I want you to be thinking of, is these lead magnets are going to get the 40,000 into the 6,000. And then you've got to do the rest to kind of manage that list and get them to actually be your passive investors or your paying clients. Great. I think that's the content that I wanted to cover. Do we have time to go into that first thing that we were kind of talking a little bit about? Or do we need to go?
No, we're good to go, man. I'm ready to stay. Everybody, it looks like everybody's focused.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen. And when I share my screen, I'm going to show you how to do this. And hopefully it's beneficial to everyone, not just Nico. All right, here we go. Edit post. I'm going to change this to show you what I would have done instead of posting a link. Lots of people have been asking me how to use social media, but I'm clueless. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go enter. I'm going to put white space, enter, add that white space. I already had it queued up from this white space character. Lots of people have been asking me how to use social media, but I'm clueless on that subject, honestly. Tonight, we have Adam, I'm going to say I don't know why. I'm so vain. I need to call myself the Adam Adams, but that's what I want to do. Okay, the Adam Adams teaching my small, intimate, virtual meetup. Okay, Control V. Not sure if anyone else would, would want to join us. But if you do, then just let me know in the comments. And here's my emoji. I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to click the hand facing down, wherever that is, the pointing down. Okay. And then I'm going to post that. Instead of posting a link, I'm going to say lots of people want to know this. I don't know how to do it, but I've got this great guy doing it. Not sure if you'd want to, but if you do, just let me know in the comments. I will share with you a little bit of psychology of why I do some of the things that are in here. And I think that's going to really benefit you a lot. Get rid of these. Oh, that's funny. Nico invited me to the meetup tonight. He's like, hey, can you come to the meetup? And he gave me a link, and I was like, of course, I'd be honored. Anyway, all right. I would love, if we have more time, I'd love to kind of go into private messaging strategies with you guys as well. Anyway, let's talk about this because this is really important. The first thing that you've learned here is you got a hook, a story, and an offer. Please write this in the comments right now. Hook, story, offer. Hook, story, offer. At the beginning of my post, I'm getting the people that would be interested in this thing, I'm getting them to stop the scroll and see what this is about. And there's another thing called above the fold. That's an old term from newspaper eras. Anything above the fold, that's before you open the newspaper, is what they see. And so I've mastered what they see and what they don't see. So I just refreshed my screen so you could see what's above the fold. And what it does is it creates curiosity. The person who's looking at this, it's saying, lots of people have been asking me how to use social media, but I'm clueless on that subject, honestly. Well, they're curious, well, what's going to happen? Like, what is he saying here? So they click this button to see the rest. Now, if you do a blocky text, it would be hard to read. Plus, you wouldn't have a fold, and you wouldn't be able to use that piece of psychology that they did purposefully in the newspaper era. It's called above the fold. And anything you say on your first two lines needs to be a hook. It needs to get them. And then you need to say the story. And then you need to say the offer. The offer here, it's not very salesy. Are you noticing that? Not sure if anyone else would be interested, but if so, let me know in the comments. It's a small, intimate, virtual meetup. It tells them exactly what they're going to be seeing. It's not going to be 10,000 people. It's probably going to be a dozen or 2 dozen people or 3 dozen. It's small, it's intimate, virtual meetup that allows them to kind of visualize what it's all about. And they might just say, I'd love to go. I'd love to go. And then here's the hack. You go in, you reply to that person, and you say, sweet, I have a couple seats open tonight. Do you want me to email you? What? Oh, that's supposed to say two. Email you? Question mark. Notice that I'm using a question mark. I didn't go directly to DM them, to direct message them. I didn't just like leave this, go and DM this guy the link to the thing. I'm spending a little extra time and attention. And then the next guy is going to go, hey, if you have any room, I'd be interested. Cool. I got a spot for you. Want me to email you or DM you? Question mark. All right. Now what's going on here is this person's going to come and say, they're going to say, Adam at adamadams.net. Yes, please. And then you're going to say, on it, Adam. Sending now. Let me know when you get it. Question mark. And over here, cool. Got a spot for you. Want me to come? DM? DM is fine. Sweet. I'll DM you right now, brother. Okay. This is the strategy that takes 2 people to 8 comments versus nobody ever commenting ever. And same thing, if all you did is just put the link down. If you said right here, if this said link is in the comments, and you put a link right here, www.com. You put a link here. What are they going to do? Are they going to engage? They're going to go in and they're just going to click on the link and they're going to leave Facebook, and Facebook's going to say, oh, stop sending that to people. But when you engage, when you can turn one person's interest into 4 comments, what is going to start happening is Facebook's going to put your stuff in front of the most amount of people. And so that, my friends, is the ninja strategy on how you can get a ton of value without sending a link. Cool?
Great. I think it was very, very interesting and great. Thank you very much, Adam. That was a great strategy for me.
Awesome.
All right. So I think, sorry guys, we kept you a little longer, but we might want to have some Q&A session shortly, like maybe 5 minutes. Is that okay? Sure. If anyone has a question, Adams, you can unmute yourself and ask some questions. You don't have to type in. Anyone?
I've got a question. Okay, so Adam, your hook story offer that you talk about needing to be in each of these posts that you're posting, do you think that the hook story offer also needs to be in any kind of direct outreach that you're doing to these people on social media? Like if you just wanted to DM someone on social media, do you need to do the same hook story offer?
Yes, in a way. It's 3 different messages. And it's not all at the same time. You don't send a hook and then a story and then an offer and walk away. You send a hook, you literally wait for the fish to grab your worm. Once they've grabbed the worm, you give them the story. once they've replied to the story, you give them the offer. So it's something like, so like Nico said, got to meet up. Here's the link. Too much, too fast, in my opinion. Too much, too fast. Every time I've ever asked a girl to marry me on the first date, I've gotten slapped right in the face. I get there, the very first date, and I'm like, marry me, lady. And they're like, you're an idiot. I'm not going to. They're offended, in other words, okay? You don't want to give them everything at the beginning. Give them just the hook. Just dangle the hook with the worm, the fancy stuff that they might want. And if they bite, give them the story. Tell them a little bit more about you on the second date. Give them the story. Tell them a little more about you. Get to know each other. Maybe on the third date, you say, don't know about you, but this is going real well. Let's get married, okay? Sure. Hook, story, offer. 1, 2, 3 different messages, though. Just for an example, Liam, what do you want people to do? What do you want them to get? What will benefit you? And I will craft something for you right here in front of everybody.
All right. So we've actually spoken before. We do smart locks. So
Okay.
I try and set up, my company, we sell smart locks.
Okay. And those smart locks are for mostly apartment communities?
We install them too at multifamily properties, at apartment communities. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do if I were you is I would create a webinar. I'd create a webinar where you have a presentation ready to go. It's a webinar that teaches about your smart locks. Okay. It teaches what it is, who it's for, and how to get it. Okay. What it is, who it's for, and how to get it. Liam, could you write that down in the chat? Just what it is, who it's for, and how to get it. All right. So while I kind of share with you how to get this smart lock, you've got your webinar, and it's a webinar about these smart locks. And you might say something to the effect of, hey, Francesca, I've done a few meetups. This time I'm speaking. Let me know if you'd be interested. Okay, that's it. Done a few meetups. This time I'm speaking. Let me know if you'd be interested. That's your hook. Done a few meetups. This time I'm speaking. Let me know if you'd be interested. Francesca comes back and says, what is it about? And now your reply is, it's about a way that multifamily operators can make and save a bunch of money and increase their NOI with something that most people don't know about. And she's like, well, what is it? And you go, it's this smart lock. It's hard to get into on chat. Would you be interested in attending the webinar? ? Francesca's going to say, I'd love to. And then you say, may I send you the link? Don't just grab someone's butt. Okay? Don't just grab someone's butt. You're on a date. You don't just randomly grab someone's butt for no reason.
Damn it. Oh.
So when we're talking about the link, ask for freaking permission. Francesca just said, I want it. And you say, great. May I send you the link? She's going to say, yes, please. Now she's totally given you permission, and you've spread this out into a real live conversation that feels comfortable, and the other person's not going to feel like you're asking them to marry you on the first date. They're going to feel like you're just offering them a little bit of value. Okay? That would be how I would work if I were you selling these. I would just, again, start it out. I've done a lot of webinars. This is the first time I'm going to be speaking. Would you be interested? And just holding back, like really reserving. You can't be too gung-ho. I remember when I was like courting and stuff, like You get too excited too early, the other person's going to be totally uninterested. The other person's just not going to be interested in you anymore because you're just like, and they're, oh, whoa, 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 like, give me some space. I need to breathe. And you got to do the same thing on your social media. So you'll private message this way, slow it down, and then she says she's interested. She wants to go to your meetup. Great. May I send you the link? She says, yes, please. Then you send the link. If you send the link before she asks, she's going to feel like you're just spamming her or him. The person is going to feel like you're spamming them. Like you've got an agenda and they're just a number. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I'll chime in if you don't mind.
Yeah,
All
sure.
right, Greg.
It's a really interesting strategy, but I could also see it being very time consuming to have that much line by line interaction with individual prospects over time. I'm just wondering, do you set a time specifically for social media distractions, or and I hate to say it like distractions, but I'm very conscious of how I spend my time, and it would be painful for me to feel like the pressure of responding to dings throughout my day to keep a conversation like that going.
Yeah, I love that question. So it makes me think sometimes that I just need to be a social media manager and I need to have all of my virtual assistants and I just kind of like helping other people. I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't like decided that's my new business, but I know I could help a lot of people if I did, because you're not the only one. Craig, right?
Greg.
Greg, there's 22 people on tonight, and I would say that more than half of them were thinking what you just said. So I'm glad you said it. They're thinking to themselves, okay, Adam, it's just so much easier to just put the link. Can I just put the link? I don't have time for this, right? And what I want to share is two things. There's two ways around that. Number one is do it my way when it counts. Or number two, hire a virtual assistant that's generally only getting paid $160 per week. Some people get paid double that in a day. Virtual assistants get paid that in a week. It's like 5 times lower, or at least half the price that you could ever get somebody local. And depending on with Liam, if he doesn't hire a virtual assistant for this, he's leaving money on the table. Being able to go into a apartment community and put 300 of these locks is make or break. It would be so dumb of him not to get that VA to take care of this for him. So there's two strategies, Greg. Number one is only do it my way when it truly, truly counts. When you want a lot of people to show up, when you want a lot of people to see a post, really take some time to make sure that it's done the way that I just shared. And I'm sorry to say, but it's going to take you hours on the first day, the second day, and probably the third day. Hours of effort going back and forth. In fact, for me, I often only am on Facebook. I don't consider it a distraction. It's really benefited my business a lot. I have a lot of past investors ready to put their money in our deals, and I've been able to achieve any amount of people that I need on a webinar, et cetera, et cetera. I said et cetera. Is that how it's ETC, et cetera? Okay. Or get a virtual assistant. I can help you find a virtual assistant. I can help you train them if you'd like me to. And they can watch this video if Nico and Joseph let you like have a copy of this. You can just pass it on and they can kind of follow it and you can help manage and support them. But for $600 a month, $160 a week, most of us can't afford not to just have that virtual assistant taking care of this stuff for us. Those are the two ways around it. Or you're just going to be weeded, or you'll have to like you'll have to have somebody else running your business so you can run your social media. So do it when it counts, or hire a VA to do it all the time for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Adam. Some great advice. Anybody else have any questions?
I think Adam, your presentation actually answered a lot of possible questions that we're having. So that's why. But thank you very much. Oh, was it a question that I see? Hold on. Nicole has a question. Do we have the VA talk as if they are us, or we let people know it's an assistant?
Love that question. We are getting into some great detail. This is something that I do on a high level with bigger companies, is that exactly. And it really depends on what thing you're doing and you and how much time you have. So I apologize if this is too much information, Nicole. I'm not trying to do that to you. What we do with VAs generally is I jump on with the VA and I whitelist stuff for my clients. I go on, it's me, my client, and the VA, and the client whitelists a certain amount of people that they don't want these messages going to. Like, just pretend if you're doing it to all of your friends. I have a ton more strategies for this in direct messaging that I could share with you if we had the time. But basically, if you're outreaching on, what do you do, Nicole? What are you focused on to make money?
I would be using. Well, I'm getting into multifamily, commercial multifamily, so I want to raise.
Okay.
I want to use this to raise money.
Okay. All right. So what do you do today, right now?
I work in healthcare at a hospital.
Perfect. All right, let's just pretend that you went on healthcare meetups. You went on Facebook groups that were healthcare. And you say, hey, you're in healthcare, I'm in healthcare. Just trying to network with people and try to figure out what we can do with our extra money. Let me know what you're doing. Love to connect. Let's just pretend this was your first thing. So you're going to a healthcare meetup, a healthcare Facebook. And then you go to all of the people that are not your friends, and you send them an invite and a private message that says something like what I just shared with you, okay? And it's like, we're both in healthcare, trying to figure out what to do with my extra money. What do you do with your extra money? Type of thing. And then just get that conversation. You're doing a question, and you're just getting that conversation going. And eventually, you'll be able to bring them into, hey, I'm thinking about doing this syndication thing. If I ever get a property, do you want to see one of the deals? And that's it. Very simple, not too salesy. So this is kind of like the process. But if you're doing it with your friends, like some other people in the group would get more value if I shared this instead. Let's just pretend like they're going into, okay, I am trying to invite people to the Raising Money Summit. Okay, Raising Money Summit coming up October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So what I did is I went to a group where it's a multifamily group, and I knew that everybody in there was interested somehow into multifamily. And then I would whitelist the people that I don't want it to go to. These are all my friends. These are my friends, but I need only the friends of mine that are in apartments. But I don't want it to go to my business partner or one of my coaching clients or my mom or whatever. So I whitelist a few people, and they put those names into a database, or you can do this if you don't have a VA or whatever. You go and literally, well, you wouldn't have to do this, because you would just literally do it because you know the people. But if you're having a VA do it for you, then you got to point out all the names, and they can watch the recording, and they'll whitelist them, and they will never send those messages to the people you don't want it to go to, but it'll go to all of your other friends that are also in multifamily. Like Joseph and Nico, to get more people to like these events, if they're doing multifamily stuff, and that's their main focus, they could go to these multifamily groups and invite people. Hey, are you going to the event on Thursday? What event? The event where Adam Adams is speaking. Oh, I didn't know about it. What's he speaking on? He's teaching social media algorithms. Would you like to come? I'd love to come. May I send you the link, the registration link? Yes, please. Here you go. You asked for it. I gave it to you. You know what I mean? Okay.
Great, thank you. I know it's already 8:30, so we're trying to close here. Adam, how can people reach out to you?
Perfect.
Your contacts and, can you give it to us?
Yeah. I would say they can, if they are looking to raise money, they can go to the Raising Money Summit. It's coming right up, and there's a discount right now. If they're looking to attract capital, grow their influence, that kind of stuff. So just go to raisingmoneysummit.com, and we'll be together for 4 days that way. Or if that's not your thing, but you still need to reach out, then I would just say adam@adamadams.net is my email.
Great. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for coming tonight. That was great. We actually planned this until like 8 o'clock, but now, we're on fire. So I guess it was a great session. Everybody was so focused and, right, Nico?
That was awesome. Adam, thank you so much for your energy, your time. It's completely like the benefit that you have provided us is insane. I really can't believe it. I feel honored that you even joined us. I'm going to share with everybody that website, the raisingmoneysummit.com, and the follow-up email. I'm going to share your email if that's the best way you would like people to get in touch with you. And as well, the video, everybody's going to get that too. And along with the chat. And honestly, for me, one of the major takeaways is like, just the deep level realization that Facebook just wants you there. And that's just a whole nother way for me to look at how I post and how I, view my content. Is just, they keep people on Facebook and you'll be promoted by Facebook. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I will actually use the exact transcript that you gave us to post our meetup about our meetup tonight. So that's awesome. All right, thank you everyone. For next meetup, we're actually having another great guest, Rod Cliff, and we're gonna be having another great night there. So please stay tuned. And again, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
We're close.
Good night.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you all.